Hi, my name is Dan Schmitt, and this is Team Chicago Challenge. We're at Peoria Motorcycle Club grounds right outside of Peoria, Illinois. Today we're going to be looking at, well, there's been 3 AHRMA events, American Historic Racing Motorcycle Association. There was a short track at Peoria Speedway Friday night, a trials event here at the club grounds, and today we're going to be looking at the TT action. So let's start off by looking at some of the short track action, the heat races out at Peoria Speedway Friday night. First race, Sportsman 250. This is for bikes built before 1974. As we watch the starter, the flip of the green, jump it out front. It's the Wills boys. It's Dave Wills and Robert Wills from Manhattan, Illinois on Can-Ams on that Illinois Harley-Davidson. Doug Gropp, Can-Am Motorcycles. Up front, that's Dave Wills. He was the champ last year on the charge now. Looks like William Foreman, also on a Can-Am. He's out of Ohio. Whoa, he slides a little wide as he tries to get around Robert Wills. Dave Wills is stretching the lead. His brother is staying right up there. Slides a little bit in the first turn 3 and 4, but on the charge now, William Foreman, the rider out of Ohio, 2 Can-Ams, down the back straight. William Foreman moves into second place, but going on to pick up the win, it's Dave Wills. In the other heat, up front, number 8, it's John Harrisburg from Illinois on the Yamaha, making the charge. Number 7F is Jeff Metzloff from Canada on a Can-Am. Whoa, he goes now, he saves it. What a ride. He goes on to pick up third in the second Sportsman 250 race. Picking up the win was John Harrisberger from Illinois. Next up, this is the classic 500, 750, 500 overhead valve, 750 side valves. That's George Wills, and he had KR 750 Harley side valve, but up front on that overhead valve, twin cylinder Triumph 62 is Barney Warthram Jr. He's from New York. On the move though, Craig Brecken, number 39. Is he on the BSA or is he on the match list? I think maybe the BSA, but Craig is on the charge. George Wills is running second place. And at Illinois, Harley-Davidson, Wheels Through Time Museum, Hogwash, Kilbo Bike Shop, Mike Liquid Carb Service, Dan Calkin, Coden Specialist. But the man with the plan up front on that Triumph twin cylinder 500cc is Barney Waltron. He's from New York on the Triumph. But this is the classic battle of the classic class. This is what they raced in the 60s. Side valve Harley Davidsons against overhead valve 500 Triumphs, BSAs. But making a move, it's Craig Brecken, the man in the tuxedo, Royal Racing. Craig Brecken, who's a board member of AHRMA, was elected. Picking up the win is Barney Waltram. George Wills second. Craig Brecken is third in the classic 500 750 first heat. Second heat, wait for the flag. Jumping out front, Jim Oliver, but right with him is William Berger from Iowa. Jim Oliver's on a Honda, must be one of them 450 Hondas with the torsion springs, torsion rods instead of springs. But up front, William Berger on the Triumph 500 twin. What a race. This is what it was like back in the 60s. Twin cylinder overhead valve engines against side valve 750s. It all worked out pretty equal. The Harley Davidsons had advantage on some tracks, but here at Peoria, on this nice short track, it's that Triumph up front William Berger, second place. Jim Oliver from Michigan on the Honda. Like that Honda could not match the speed. William Berger, rigid tail, no brakes. Running that Sonic Weld frame on that Triumph. And this is some of the heat race action at Peoria with AHRMA, the Peoria Motorcycle Club. And with William Berger picking up the win, we're going to check out some of the final events. Next up, Sportsman 750. I'm on my Triumph 750. It's about a 67 or 68 engine. This is for bikes built before 1974. Got the Team Chicago helmet cam. Let's check this out. Watch the starter. He steps into the box. And I get a decent start. But up front, it's like Fran Brown. He's on a Triumph. He's up there. Frank Hardman's ahead. Barney Waltron on the Yamaha's right in front of me. So I get a little wide. And I'm shifting this Triumph. I didn't have the right gearing. So I'm shifting. Downshift into the corner. Get on the gas. Upshift. Downshift, a little brake. It's a groove track. I don't really like grooves. This is one of the reasons I quit dirt tracking, because of these groove tracks. But this is an AHRMA National. I'm here to have some fun. I'm running fourth. Fran Brown is way up front there. Frank Hartman's running second. Barney Waltram Jr. on the Yamaha from New York is right in front of me, but it looks like he's having a mechanical problem. He's looking down at his engine. I spot this. Get on the gas. Throw a downshift. Try to move around. He's losing a little power. Scoop by him. I'm in third place now. This is Sportsman 750. Get on the gas. But I hear another bike right on my back wheel. White flag. 1 lap to go. Up front, Fran Brown. He's up front. Second place is Frank Hartman from Colorado. They come out of the last corner, slip wide. John Skinner comes shooting by from Alabama on a Triumph. I end up in fourth place in Sportsman 750. Next up, Sportsman 600. Jumping out front. It's like Frank Hartman from Colorado. Right with him though, Mike O'Connell, the #1 rider, the champ from last year. This bike's built before 1974. Al McRoberts on the charge for third place. He makes the move down the inside. He gets around Larry Weiss from Pennsylvania, but up front the battle continues. Got Frank Hartman making a move now. Michael Cornell from Iowa on that Honda, the #1 rider from last year. Third place, Al McRoberts, and he's from Marietta, Michigan. Fourth place, Larry Weiss. Dennis Rich is in fifth place. But last year's champ, #1 in Sportsman 600, Mike Cornell, has got the hot hand on this short track in Peoria. Next up, Dinosaur Class. This is a classic battle. Jumping up front, #1 champ from last year, George Wills. Right with him is Craig Brecken. Craig Brecken on that Royal Racing Matchless. It's a matchless scrambler. It's for bikes built before 1951. George Wills is on his WR. Dan Coughlin owned. Coating specialist. Mike's Liquid Carb Cleaner. Illinois Harley. Wheels Through Time. Hogwash. And Calbo's Bike Shop. Joliet sponsored. George Wills making a move. Bruce Ambrosini. He's on a Royal Enfield trying to get around Craig Brecken, but George Wills has got the hot hand, and he had Harley Davidson side valve. This class, no brakes. Bikes built before 1951. This is what they raced back in the early 50s or right after the war. Craig Brecken on that matchless scrambler, 500 single cylinder, but an overhead valve engine. The Harley Davidson is a side valve engine as George Wills goes on to pick up the win. Now let's check out some of the trials action at the Peoria Motorcycle Club grounds. Well, trials is an event that tests the rider on the bike. It's a skill event. Practice makes perfect. Some of these riders are pretty good. This is all vintage equipment, not like the modern trials events. This is vintage bikes. This could be a Greaves. It's got the Earl's forks, probably built during the 60s, 70s, two-stroke. You do not put your foot down. You lose 1 point every time you put your foot down, up to 3 points in a section. And if you don't complete the section, you automatically get 5. So they're kind of liberal with their points with AHRMA, with these vintage bikes. If you make it through the section, the maximum you can lose is 3. You don't make it through the section, you lose 5. And if you clean the section, there's 1 dab for that rider. Let's check out this rider on the Yamaha. There's 1 dab. Makes it around. This is a little creek crossing section. Another dab. Another dabs. Another dab. But the maximum he'll lose in this section is 3 points. You don't put your foot down, you clean it, you get a 0. There's a novice rider, it was like Jacob Cosby, and he went on to pick up, actually he's a beginner rider, and they're pretty easy with the beginners, but he picked up the win in the beginning class. Tammy Reichheimer Mount on the Honda in Modern Classic. She finished 9th. She's running the 3 line. Winning that class was Dick Vellman. Modern Classic Intermediate, Michael McPeters won. Modern Classic expert, Chris Eddy. Classic Novice was Darrell Boone, as we see this 2-rider coming through this very difficult section. Oh, it doesn't have enough power. Oh, he's not going to make this section. Premier Lightweight Novice, Gordon Gray won on the BSA. Premier Lightweight Intermediate, Bruce Craig won. Premier Lightweight Expert, Graham Foster won. Premier Heavyweight Intermediate, Ron Wiglet. Now let's check out this rider. It's a 2-rider. Looks like he's also on the Greaves. Girder front end, there's 1 dab. But the 2 line is pretty tough, and this guy looks great. Let's watch him make it around the tree. And that's it from the trials, AHRMA trials. Now let's go check out the TT action. First race up, Vet Class. This is for bikes built before 1974, riders over 35 years old. So jumping up front, it's 57, that's Frank Hartman from Colorado. 62 is Barry Waltron from New York. On the charge is Fran Brown, all the way from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, on that Triumph, number 50. Came all the way to Peoria to run this classic Peoria TT track. This is the classic of all motorcycle tracks. Up front, Frank Hartman on the Yamaha. Making the charge, Fran Brown on that Triumph. He goes up the jump. He's the guy in blue. He is charging. He has probably read about Peoria his entire life, and he's here racing. They head down the long straightaway, locking up the brakes in his first corner. Up front, Frank Hartman, Barry Waltram, Fran Brown, Al Adams, Albert McRoberts. The classic race. It's great to see these big twins on the TT track with good riders laying it into the first corner and getting on the gas and hitting that jump. Picking up the win in this heat, it was Frank Hartman. Now we're looking at 70 singles, bikes built during the 70s, Hondas and Yamahas. Up front, that's George Mack. George Mack from Geo Trading on that 4 and 6 prepared Honda 500 single. They can run the 500 singles, Hondas and Yamahas. They have dominated this class. George Mack coming out of turn 4, heading down the front straightaway. Locks up the brakes, downshift. This first corner is getting kind of slick. It's slick on the inside with a push up above. George hits a jump. He looking great out there. Looks like he's going to go on to pick up the win in this heat race. There was 2 heat races for the 70 singles. These are the fast guys. New riders coming in this class all the time. These are very competitive motorcycles. George Mack heads down the front straightaway. That's Mark Hawk right with him, number 3. George goes through the first corner. Got the Yamaha on the inside, but he powers away, hits the jump. The famous Peoria Motorcycle Club grounds, the TT track, the classic TT, America's racetrack. George Mack heads down the front straightaway again. Mark Hawk is right with him. One downshift, puts on the brakes. Puts on the brakes. No brakes. Oh no! George slides out into the hay bales. His brakes went away. Going on to pick up the win in this heat race. It's Mark Hawk on the Yamaha. Now let's go to a few comments from some of the racers at the Peoria TT race with AHRMA.
Hi, I'm George Wills. I'm here with my 2 sons, Bobby and David. We kind of like enjoy riding AHRMA for the fact that it's low-keyed, low pressure, a lot of fun, a lot of good guys to ride with. Why don't you tell them something about Peoria, Dave?
It's a fun track. TT is a fast track. Like the jump and the right turn. It's a little different than normal circles. That's about it. Pretty much like the only TT track AHRMA has. Come out and ride it.
I'm George Mack. I'm down here at Peoria for the AHRMA TT. I absolutely love this place. The history here, they've been racing here for 50-some years. It's one of the best racetracks in the country. I get excited just coming down the hill looking at this place. It's so cool. It's the best, one of the best racetracks in the country. Living in Illinois, I feel very fortunate to be that close to this racetrack. I come here every year for the National and the Hot Shoe in June, and I come back every September for this AHRMA race. I'm very excited and can't wait to get on the track.
My name's Andy McRoberts. I'm from Harrietta, Michigan, which is a small town in northern Michigan, and I'm down here in Peoria to race the TT. I'm trying to get some points to win the Masters of the Midwest Championship.
I'm Gary Brennan. I'm 60 years old from Decatur, Illinois. I've been doing this 42 years. And I'm supposed to tell you why I do this. This is the only thing a short, fat man can do. When I got a divorce, the only thing I had left in the garage was an old 1974 TR5 MX Triumph, and this is putting it to good use.
Next race, heat race, senior TT, riders over 50. This is my heat race, second heat race out of 2. Got a pretty decent jump off the line. 2 riders ahead. Go a little too wide here into the loose stuff. 83 gets by me. It's Jim Alver from Michigan. He's on a Honda Twin. I'm gonna try this outside line. Seems a little more traction. Don't get on the gas quick enough. I head down the straightaway. My Triumph, my 4 and 6. Ace Cycle World, Torco Racing Fuel and Oil, Moose Products, Triumph Motorcycle. It is running good. We've had it on the dyno. It's making 55 horsepower as I head for the jump. Gotta catch these guys. I should be able to win this race. I won the championship 2 years ago. I finished second last year. But the track is rougher and slicker. I probably should have put different tires on. I'm running the Goodyears. I should have went to my Pirelli Carlisle setup and run into cushion. Steering seems to be okay. I slip wide here. I'm into cushion and the Goodyear is not working. I probably should have had a Carlisle on back. Maybe I could have rode this track better. I head for the jump. These guys are not getting away from me. I'm going to try that outside line again. See if I can get by. 83. In red, that may be Larry Weiss. Up front, right now, 95 is Alan Cano from New York. I get by Jim Oliver, get on the brakes, downshift, get back on the gas, see if I can catch these guys. This is it, the Peoria Motorcycle TT, Motorcycle Club Grounds TT track, one of the most famous racetracks in the country. Let me go on this outside line, see if I can get around these guys. 94, I don't have listed, it might be Larry Weiss. I get down the front straightaway, but they get more of a drive down low. Try to late brake into the first corner. A little bit on the outside. Don't get good enough traction. Stay on the gas, stay on the gas. Larry Weiss cuts down on the inside. I go on the outside, make the jump, move up to second place. Can I chase down this leader? We try this outside line again. Get on the gas. He's getting a good drive. I get up in the loose stuff. Lose some traction. White flag, 1 lap to go. Lock on the brakes, stay down low, get on the gas. I think it's Larry Weiss up front going on to pick up the win in the heat. He did win the final also. I have to settle for second place in the heat. And by the time the final came around, my bike started running bad. The Peoria Blues struck me again. Now let's check out the Dino Class. Up front, 67, that's Bruce Arvidsini, all the way from Connecticut. On the outside, Craig Brecken on that matchless scrambler, Craig Brecken. George Wills is on that 51 Triumph, that's number 1. Up front, Bruce Agasiner from Connecticut on the charge now. 82. It's James McKay from Indiana. George Wills has dropped back to 3rd on the charge. Craig Brecken from Spartan, Michigan, one of the board members of AHRMA in the tuxedo leathers. He makes the move on the outside, taking it outside line. It's up to second place. That matchless scrambler, single cylinder. McCabe's trying the inside line, but Craig Brecken got the hot hand. He's on the gas. And it's Craig Brecken picking up the win. James McKay was second. George Wills ended up 3rd. It was a great race for Craig Brecken, and now we're looking at the ticket booth and thousands of fans that came out for the National in 1948. A drill team from Monterrey, Mexico entertained the crowd on the front straightaway. But I agree with my late great friend George Mack. This track is very special to me. I earned novice points here in 1976 or 77. I was the fast qualifying junior. In 1981 or 82, I almost made the AMA National Final on Al Bloom's Triumph. I ran 4th maybe in the heat. I was the first alternative to the final, but I did not make the show. I have produced Part 1 and Part 2 of the Peoria history on DVD, and I am quite proud of it. And now let's go check out the racing action from 1948. 45 cubic inches is the lightweight class, 80 cubic inches is the heavyweight class. Up front, it looks like Will Young has got the early lead. Will Young's from Santa Ana, California. They go over the double jump and head into the right-hander. Alex Swing is moved by Bug Brigance. Ray Goff got ahead of Lee Christensen. Bill Miller has moved himself into the lead. Right with him, Alex Swing. But it's Bill Miller as he goes on to pick up the win. Alex Swing was second, Ray Goff third, Buck Brennan was fourth as they start the 80 cubic inch class. It's like Bob Sleuth from Milwaukee. He's battling with Glenn Paxton. Snow has moved up to third place. That's Leslie Snow from Bloomington. But young Billy Douglas is working his way through traffic. This rider out of East St. Louis, Billy Douglas, is on the charge. Paxton still up front. Second place, Eddie Price. Paxton is down, moving up to the lead now. Battle between Billy Douglas and Eddie Price. Billy Douglas now takes the lead as he charges down the last corner. But at the checkered flags, it's that youngster from East St. Louis, Billy Douglas, picking up the win as we see the young Billy Douglas. The winner of the 45 cubic inch class was Bill Miller. For more information on the Peoria Motorcycle Club, it's peoria.motorcycleclub.com. On Facebook, it is peoria.motorcycleclub. I have produced the two-part Peoria Motorcycle Club history. Part 1 is 1930 to 1950. Part 2 is 1950 to 1970. This 2-DVD set is now available for $15. To get more information, contact me at teamdan45@gmail.com. That's right, teamdan45@gmail.com. And remember, I always love to hear your comments about these clips that I'm putting up on YouTube. Remember, you can always search on YouTube with Dan Schmitt Motorcycle Racing for more great motorcycle racing action. And I highly encourage you to visit the World of the Motorcycle Museum, Winamac, Indiana. It's on Indiana 39, 4 miles south of North Judson. Give them a call first at 574-896-3172. It's a great trip and a great collection of motorcycles.